Hey, good morning, everybody. Paul, Kim, Jeff, Bruce, who's the Islander? What is happening? Welcome to the Gospel of Two Wheels, guys. It's so good to see you guys here. It is good to be here in Colorado. It is brutally hot out there right now. Well, not yet, but it's getting there. We are cracking the 100 mark. It seems like every day this week, and it is, it's tough. This is unseasonably warm for us. We usually get to the triple digits eventually during the year, but rarely this early. So it's rough. Hi, Mom. There's my mom, everybody. Everybody say hi to my mom, Suzanne Spradling. She is alone in Oklahoma because my dad is goofing off fishing up in Steamboat. Jason Lash, what's happening? Keith McQueen. Welcome to the Gospel of Two Wheels, where the coffee's hot, the bikes are fast, and your comments are absolutely ridiculous, and I love it. It's great to be here. Great to be actually taking a week off from craziness. We were in Nemo, South Dakota 2 weeks ago, then racing last week. So this week we're sort of relaxing. Actually, my family is heading out tonight to go camp for the whole weekend, which is awesome. And I'll be joining them on Saturday night, which is rad. Jimmy Neihart, what is up? Chris Abbott, good morning. Did you pop wheelies on your V-Strom all the way home? I hope you did. Yeah, it's going to be a nice, relaxing weekend. I'm not even sure I'm taking a dirt bike, although I'm sure I'll take a dirt bike. Bike vault, what's happening? Yeah, we're going up to Silverjack Lake, which is in the Cimarrons, for those of you not from here, Montrose sits in a valley. To the direct south of us is Ouray, which is in the heart of the San Juan Mountains. And then south and just a little bit east, or excuse me, south and a little bit west is Telluride and all that. And then to the east and south is the Cimarron Mountains, which is a little bit different mountain range than the San Juans. I mean, it's kind of the same, but it's not. And anyway, it's really, really cool. There's a beautiful lake up there called Silverjack, and there's awesome camping. There's not actually a ton of single track up there. There is some really hard stuff. So I might take my bike and my saw because I hear that our friends have gotten a bunch of that cleared, but there was snow up top 2 weeks ago when they tried, and so they couldn't get over the top. So I might take the saw up there and see if we can do a little good. Bike Vault, that's awesome. You ordered a Wolf Vest. You're in where are you, Bike Vault? You're in you're not in this country. So that's awesome. They're ordering, I forget. I want to say Taiwan, not Taiwan. I forget. Let me know where you're from again. I apologize. I know that it's not in Colorado. Ronnie Nelson, good morning. How's it going? Thailand. There we go. I knew it was a Thai at the start. That's awesome. You ordered that's super cool that they're shipping to Thailand. That's way cool. You're from Scotland in Thailand. That's crazy time. What are you doing in Thailand? Well, that's awesome. That's nuts. So anyway, welcome guys to the show. If you're new here watching live, welcome. Also, if you're new here and you haven't figured it out yet, if you would like to give us the thumbs up, back out of the chat, give a thumbs up, and come on back in, because there's only 7 thumbs up and 27 of you guys watching. So the TJ Cowern, I'll try to pronounce that correctly. That's awesome. And Greg from Australia, one of these days, Greg, so I'm like these Ride the World series that we've been doing, we've got 2 in the books now. I really want to do one in Australia. So we need to Kevin O'Loughlin coming in saying he's new. What's this about? That's awesome. Kevin is one of the least new people here. But we love seeing you here, Kevin. It was great seeing you up in Nemo too. Yeah, one of these days I want to do a Ride the World in Australia. I'll have to figure out how to rent a bike and get there and how to pay for it and all that stuff. But maybe once the channel gets big enough and we're making enough money here, that will be more feasible. But I really want to do that. Really, really want to do that, and New Zealand. We should do 2. And speaking of Ride the World series of awesomenesses, Episode 3 is coming up in August, August 26th through the 30th, up in Smiley Creek, Idaho, which is, well, Smiley Creek Lodge. It's up in the Sawtooth Mountains, near Stanley and all that. And anyway, whatever. It's awesome. This one's going to be a little bit different than the rest of them. First of all, I'm not advertising it as a family trip. It's going to be really hard riding most of the time. I say really hard. It's going to be intermediate to really hard. And because there's nothing really easy. My kids are not going to be able to come because they're in school. They're going to have started school by then, so they won't be able to take off. Chris Cooley, what's happening? So anyway, so it's going to be an adult trip. Also, I'm not doing the t-shirt order and so I'm not doing dinner, partially because it's just going to be me and probably Zach, and it's going to be a thing. So we'll have dinner together, but I'm not going to provide it. I'm also not taking any money from anybody. And we'll do a t-shirt order when we're there, and we'll get them done and mailed out afterwards, because it's too short of a time. My artist who does my designs doesn't have time to get one done, and I don't know if I can get it printed fast enough because it's actually really soon. So, but we will still have t-shirts done. They'll just come after the thing, and that way we'll get the exact right number, and we'll be good. So anyway, that is going to be a super fun time. And then I'm thinking, and KO, let me know what you think about this. Thinking about we're going to the Gold Rush, big race in Oklahoma. And I'm thinking about making a Ride the World Series of Awesomenesses episode 4 at the Gold Rush, at a race, because I thought that'd be kind of fun to make. It's 3 days of racing, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's 3 days of riding, kind of like our other episodes. Also, it's in the middle of the country, so it's a completely different place. And I think it's a great race. It's super fun. There's stuff for kids, for adults, every kind of race. And it's just really, really fun. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about making an episode 4 there. I mean, we're going anyway, and we're going to race. We're going to film the whole thing and all that. But I'm considering making an episode of the Series of Awesomenesses. So, by the way, Jimmy Neihart, I agree that Australia it also scares me. Everything seems like there can kill you. And yes, my mom will be there with muffins. So, that will be awesome. She will be in Oklahoma with lots of muffins. And I'm sure if we get enough people saying they're coming, she'll make a whole ton of them. Okay. Oh, so yeah, they have a new scoring crew. Did you sell your gear, Kevin? So Kevin O'Laughlin used to own and run the Okra series in Oklahoma. I think that was the one you had. Anyways, the Hair Scramble series, and it was anyway. He also scored the Gold Rush as just a one-off event, and I know that he got out of that because he was not getting to race and ride enough himself. So I think he sold his gear. Let me know. And is the new crew that's scoring it using your gear? OHSCS. There we go. So Jimmy Neihart, when is it? It's the first weekend in November. So I don't know what that date is, but whatever it is, it's the first weekend in November. It's in Hallett, Oklahoma, which is just west of Tulsa, and it's really great. So let's go real quick over it, like how it works. So it works out just like a Series of Awesomenesses thing. So this could be good. We get there Thursday night. We race supermoto Friday morning, and it's not like crazy supermoto with big jumps or anything like that. It's just off and on. Well, hold on, let me back up. It's at a road race track called the Hallett Motor Racing Circuit. So you can Google that. And so the supermoto is like knobby tires. They have a pro class and all that, and some guys bring slick tires, but generally it's just knobby tires, and you go on and off the pavement, and it's really fun. And then Friday night they have a motocross race, and it's a very mellow motocross track, like no do or die jumps. It's really fun. But there's stands and lights, and it's really, really awesome. And then so that's Friday. Then Saturday is the Grand Prix, and it's a 2-hour Grand Prix, and you start on pavement, go off through the motocross track, out into the woods, come back on the pavement for 2 hours, as many as you can do. It's really great. And then Sunday is the team race Grand Prix, and it's really, really a fun weekend. It's relatively expensive if you're going to race all those classes. It can get pretty pricey, but it's totally worth it, I think. Also, you can just come and hang out. There's no like just trail riding around there because it's all private property. It's all racing. But if anybody's interested, like I said, we'll talk about it and maybe make that a ride the world and see if we can't bring a whole bunch of people from all around the country. It'd be really fun. My mom, will they do vintage bikes? Yes, they will be doing vintage bikes, at least in the Grand Prix on on Saturday, that in the morning. So Jason Lash, that's awesome. Hopefully she'll let you leave also. It's really, really fun. Let's see. So anyway, last weekend, so you guys who joined me here last week knew about the kid's bike falling off the van, all that stuff. So the story continues. If you haven't seen, the new bike showed up last Thursday just in time for me to get it prepped, get it ready. We go racing. The kid gets to race the bike. He never misses a minute of racing or riding. Races the bike. He says it's awesome, but it's actually really fast, super fresh. And it was anyway, so he was struggling with it a bit because it was having a hard time, and everything was brand new and not broken in. And anyway, but he had a great race. He ended up 6th in the Super Mini, or Iron Mini, they call it. And he did great out of 9. So it's not bad. He was not super happy with his results, but I'm really proud of him because it was a brutal course, super dusty and crazy. So then we team raced together, my little guy and I. And they put us in the B class, which was rough because I'm an A rider and he's technically a C rider. So that makes B. And anyway, so we got our butts kicked, but we had a blast. We had a ton of fun. He did great. And I was just so proud of him. And then the next day I was racing and I did not feel good. Richard Hartley was happening. I did not feel fast at all. I just felt super slow the whole day, but I came in for a pit to get gas. And as I'm gassing up, my son Thomas, he's pouring gas. He's like, "Dad, you on the bike." I'm like, "What?" So they found Ewan's bike, the one that fell off the van. It turns out it was in Delta, Colorado, which is just up the road. It's a really long story. I'm going to do a story time about it here on YouTube. But the long and short of it is, it's totally fine. Literally nothing wrong with it. I mean, other than a scratch on the handlebar, which has a handguard on it, so no big deal. And then a broken fork guard holder. That's it. That's all I could find wrong with it. Is nothing. So it was, yeah, it was crazy. So it was awesome. And I ended up with 2nd in 48 and 18th overall for the day, which is not my favorite. Like, I don't know. I was a little off pace, but I had a great race. No big crashes. A few tip overs though. Super soft. All right. Timothy Bryson bought a 1750 CR50, installed the big bore kit, having trouble getting it running. It ran just fine before, but the race came with new piston and such. I read that you can sell the camshaft 180 out. What do they mean by that? Because it can only go in one way. So someone said the 180 off. So real quick on that, Pack Racer 316. Actually, no, I'm going to sell that and buy an awning for my van because I need that because it's hot and I need shade, better shade. So no, yeah, Chris, obviously he doesn't want to sell the new one. I asked him which one he wants to sell, but he does want to sell the old one. The new one is real shiny. So back to Timothy's question about the camshaft. Really, you can't do 180 out on a 4-stroke unless the spark is not a wasted spark. So, because the thing is, if you have a cam and you have it, like if you install it the way you're supposed to, which is top dead center compression, and the cam lobes are away from the valves and all that. That's great. If you were able to install it 180, it would be, first of all, really hard because it would be pushing on the valves, but it won't mess anything up because that just puts the bike at top dead center overlap. It doesn't hurt anything, and it can't pistons or valves won't hit pistons, nothing like that. So like 180, the only thing that happens when you do that is if you're trying to adjust the valves with it 180 out, then you won't get that right. So now you could theoretically go, I don't know, it wouldn't be 90, but anyway, you could have the piston all the way down and out, but the cam isn't 180. It would be the crankshaft would be 180, but the cam, it's I don't know, it's weird. As long as the piston was at top dead center when you installed the cam, you can't do 180 out. Now, if the piston is at the bottom, that's the crank being 180 out, and then that you could do it. And I don't know, it may not be an interference motor, so it might, if you do that, it might actually, well, it won't run. I know that for a fact, but it also might not blow it up. Because on a big modern 4-stroke, like if you put the cam in at how it's supposed to be, for top dead center, but the piston's at the bottom, it will, and when the piston comes up, it'll freaking hit valves and blow everything up. So that's no good. Travis E, you like the CRF 50 over the PW 50 for a starter bike? Good question, Travis. I like the CRF 50 honestly because it's just a little more burly. The PW is it's actually a better bike for littler kids because it's lighter. It's a 2-stroke, and it's just twist and go. There's no gears at all on those things. But Jimmy mentioned they have gears. So, but the CRF will, as the kid gets better and more confident, you can use the CRF way more because you can actually go faster, go on longer trail rides. And the frame and the chassis, while they are not super robust, they are way more robust than the PW. The PW, I've seen so many of those things with the head busted or the forks bent because kids are jumping them. CRFs, XR50s, they do the same thing eventually, but it takes a lot more beating. So anyway, Timothy, back to your question. You're right. The cam, as long as you've got the timing marks, the cam can really only go in one way, and you can't mess that up. All you can mess up is where the piston is. So hopefully that will help you. Dave Kessler, what's happening? Good to see you here. So yeah, that's probably what's going on. Maybe. Or if you didn't get, the other thing is, so I haven't done a 50 top end in a long time, but if you don't have your timing marks lined up on the flywheel for the piston, so like if you're rolling that piston over and you're at the fire mark and not the top dead center mark, which are two different marks, if you're doing it timed with the fire mark and not the top dead center mark, you're off just a few degrees, and that will make it not run. Oh, Dave Kessler, how common is it cold seasoning a KTM 300? Just did that to mine. Dave, it's not that common, especially for an adult gentleman like yourself. I know Dave, I've met him and ridden with him, because usually cold seasoning happens when someone's too fired up. They fire their bike up and go, and then take off up a hill or down a road or something like that before they let the thing warm up. So if you did that, then I guess it's pretty, anyone can do it. So that's weird. It's not very common though. I have a couple questions real fast. Dave Kessler got on a turn track that was chisel plowed and rototilled on the pipe, third gear, pulling hard, 0 tire slip, and then squeak. Jimmy, no, his is not a TPI unless you got a new bike, Dave. Roger Herb, what's happening? And you pulled it out. Like, did you take it apart, Dave, and determine that it was a cold seize? Because I don't. Yeah, it's like I don't know if you guys are on Facebook and watch my short video of me racing the 125. Um, I, I, I mean, I had that thing wound out on the motocross track. I mean, freaking wound out, and it was like there was, I mean, it didn't cold seas, and I didn't have it all that one. I mean, it was warm. I had it warmed up plenty, obviously, but I had that thing just singing in like second gear because it wouldn't pull through the tilled um, track, the motocross track that we started on. They tilled it all up, and which is nice, but it's really tough on a 125, and it just wouldn't pull anything more than second. So I just had that thing singing, and it no issues. And Jason Lash, the TPIs are cold seasoning. Because they don't warm up enough, and that's anyway, whatever. I don't love that. It's one more thing I don't love about them. But I have a couple questions from the internets. Jimmy, not 100% sure they're lean and startup. Mine smokes while it's idling. Could be lean and smoke. Jimmy, it could be lean on fuel and heavy on oil and smoke. Tom the Battle Axe, my TPI has been fine with good oil and warming it all the way up. Yeah. 40 hours basically all raced. Right on. So yeah. So Bruce Kennedy, I'll get to this question in a second. Chris Ash has a question. I am gonna answer, Chris, if you're watching. Piston four corner scuffs, classic cold seas. Dave, that is classic for sure. If the thing was warmed up, Dave, I doubt it was really a cold seizure. Unless something happened, but mine, I melted mine up in Idaho, melted it, and it, mine was it went lean. The left side main seal started leaking and went lean. See, Chris Kinberg, my friend Preston has a TPI to replace the elbow that comes out of the bottom of the oil tank. Is dry, cracked, and already it's a twin. Pack racers, like you, I've had a complete hip replacement. Did you have any issues with confidence and being afraid of re-injuring? Having an issue with getting back to my former self. Pack racer, no. I have been. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but I went for it. I haven't been worried at all, and I had a huge. I came up way short on the motocross track in Monticello, way short on a double, and I thought I was going to die, but it was good. It was bad, but no, pack racer, I can tell you, after over a year after, I feel I don't even think about it anymore. So, Eric Bryan, TPIs are not the best. Tom the Battle Axe, did you remove the thermostat and then go and beat on it in the first 5 minutes? There you go. Clean the cylinder up by hand sanding aluminum off. It looks good. I have a new piston gasket set on the way. My mom says I'm crazy fearless. I wouldn't say I'm totally fearless, but yeah, I don't worry about much. So I have a question. Chris Ash, hey Morgan, could you share your opinion on how long to go on a 300 KTM bottom end? I'm approaching 350 hours and needing to do another piston. Just wondering if I should do the top and bottom for peace of mind. So I am shooting for 400 hours on my bottom end before I do it. I've seen lots of them with that many, and Jimmy Nair. And so I've seen lots of them go way over 400 hours. I don't know what it is about 400 that I like, but that's what I'm shooting for. And Jimmy Neihart, I was afraid to go into that for sure. Roger Hurd, yes, not smart enough to care, 100%. Hey, guys, I got someone at the door. I will be right back. Hang on 1 second. Ah! Sorry. No, I was sorry, not had to pee. But the Amazon dude just dropped off the boxing gloves that I just ordered for Zach and I's cage match. Oh, I'm so excited. We're dangerously close to 10,000 subscribers. And we are going to cage match. I did get big inflatable boxing gloves, but it is going to happen. So tell your friends if they haven't subscribed to get us to 10K, because it is on. It is going to be so rad. I can't wait. Let's see. My mom asking about bananas. Chris Cooley, I wish I'd come back with a burrito. That would have been sorry. You guys are awesome. See, no, I have not tried the Tuss T35 yet. That's awesome if you like it. Dave Kessler, 380 hours on it. Check the rod, 0 play. So let me get to Dave Kessler, 380 hours, 0 play on the rod. I have yet to see a KTM rod bearing go out, other than like whatever malfunctions, bad maintenance, things like that. But Dave, it's usually the right side main bearing that goes south. It's that big roller bearing instead of the ball bearing on the other side. That thing will wear even with really good maintenance. A good friend of ours, Greg Norvell, had one, started making some just noises, just like a little bit like Smiley Hansen, Watchtower magazine. That's awesome. So anyway, that is the bearing that goes south. So actually, most of them, you pull them apart, the crank is completely fine, totally inspect, whatever. And then it's that right bearing gets just a little bit of play in it, and then yeah. Let's see. I'm not talking about that spot. As a kid, I had a horrible fear. Not fear. I just like they were gross. I'd throw up. It was so bad. Let's see. So yeah, as far as Chris asking about that, that's my official comment on that. Let's see. I have more questions from the internet. Jessica, I don't know, Jessalicia. Chris Cooley, AZ equals Mordor, and except for in the winter, that's really nice. Anyway, Jesse, it's probably Jesse Lycia. Anyway, what drives you to race all the time? So that would be, well, first of all, I don't feel like I race all the time. This year we've been racing a fair amount, which is awesome. But what drives me to race at all is the fact that I, A, love dirt bikes, B, love going fast on dirt bikes, and C, probably most importantly, really like competition. I really like to compete and try to be better. And, you can go out with your friends and try to be faster or whatever on the trail. And that's a lot of fun. I love that. I do that all the time. But there's just another level when there's actually a stopwatch, timing you, and you get to see who's actually faster when it comes down to it. So I just love racing. I know a lot of guys here love racing, and not everybody loves racing. That's fine. Like, I don't, that's fine. If you don't love racing, you don't love racing. That's totally cool. But I absolutely love it. Oh, yeah, Jimmy Neihart. Speaking of Arizona, there's servicemen and women who are out in the heat with full gear. My son is one of them. Shout out to the military people. Yes, Jimmy Neihart, thank you for that reminder. A big shout out to everybody in the military who has sacrificed. In my opinion, everybody who signs their name and joins the military has sacrificed their life. Obviously, they're not all dead, thankfully. But by signing your name, you have given your life to the U.S. government 100%. Like 100%. Like, you it's no longer yours. So my belief is that every one of those men and women has sacrificed their life. Some of them just get out without having to let go of it, and some don't. So anyway, I hat off, my giant hair and hat off to that. So thank you so much, Jimmy Neidhart's spawn, and everybody else out there. Bruce Kennedy, I was servicing my air filter on the Beta and have decided to grease the airbox seal as well as the filter. Wipe grease off the filter when slid in the paste. Yeah, Bruce, good move. The other thing that works really good, I wish I could remember who gave it to me, is that Pro Seal thing works great. Hey, Leia, come. That's a good dog. Like that Pro Seal, and then a little bit. I still use the grease on that, so it helps. Dave Custer, might have to check that. It might be loose enough to cause a seal leak, which probably could have momentary lean the mixture and cause a seizure. Yes, Dave Kessler, I would definitely check it, because when mine seized, there was no good reason. My bearings were fine, but mine happened because I drowned it and tried to start it, and I think it pushed the seal. It compromised the seal when I tried to push the water out the thing. Anyway, whatever. Let's see. Peacemaker, have you ever raced a motocross race? Ain't nothing like a gate drop. Peacemaker, yes, I have. And I agree, there's nothing like a gate drop, but also I would argue that starting a hare and hound race with over 100, or in one case, my case, there are 300 dudes on one line, dead engine out across miles of desert, is even more exciting. It's so cool. And everybody's saying racing is addictive. It is completely 100%. But Peacemaker, I do think that motocross, supercross, and like lap races like that are, I've never breathed harder in my life than on things like that. Endurocross, same way. I've done a lot of racing. I've done a lot of racing this year. We always joke the whole new bike never races. Yeah. Never race joke is more like new bike always race. Yeah, exactly. Hair scrambles 70 plus on a road to the 3-foot trail. Jimmy, I agree. I think just having like the mass of humanity funneling towards a single track is just crazy. Hey, Leia, good dog. Sorry, Leia's in here. And I'm making sure she's not chewing on bad things. So yeah, anyway, I love racing. I think there's one other question. It's actually a guy on Instagram. Is that reincarnated young Zach Sheets, aka Angry Zach Fan, is my kid on his 125 or 144 from Mr. Hurd, by the way. So yeah, like kids race. My son Thomas had a great start. I mean, a brilliant start. Got off road and had a huge get off. His arms all barked up, and anyway, so he only finished one lap and came off. He was all beat up and really bummed out. So I'm sad for him because he was really wanting to do well. He did so well last race, but it was so dusty and so loose. He got in some dust and was trying to pass and hit something with the back tire, just OTB. But it was awesome. Let's see. NC guy, bro, you was right. I'm almost at 2 weeks from hip surgery and doing great. Now is the waiting game until I can get back on the dude. The hip, it's so good. Having a hip replacement is awesome. I'm considering having all my joints replaced, one every winter until I'm all brand new. Obviously, I'm kidding, but oh man, my hip, it's like game changer. So. All right, guys, I got a boogie. It's 8 o'clock. We have so much. All right, Chris Abbott going to go right. We have so much work to do at the shop. Here's a little thing. So we went from 30-ish open work orders to 57 yesterday in a week. So fortunately, we have Mrs. Sheets in house, and she is helping us helping me get more things done. I'm getting way more work done, which is awesome. So the schlogs actually should really increase the amount of tech stuff. Also, probably the amount of specific tech videos should start to increase a bunch too, because I'm hammering down. So anyway, I love you guys so much. Jimmy Nyhart for sure. I love. Okay. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I love that you guys join me on these Thursday mornings. It means an absolute ton to me. I hope you guys get out and ride this weekend. I hope you get out and spread the gospel of two wheels. And as always, Ewan, come here. Okay. I'm going to have my kid tell me. As always, I desperately hope that what we're doing here at Highland Cycles is inspiring you to get out and ride your dirt bikes.